forecasters say travelers in the eastern U.S. should be prepared for possible delays due to strong winds across the region. I'm Chris Coraggio, NBC News Radio.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Find us on the web at MBRadio.
Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and MBRradio.us. We gotta bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to His word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when He comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. All right, welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website. The station leaves no listener behind. We have a very impactful show for you tonight, as always. Music computer. We have a very impactful show for you tonight, as always. You know, tonight, man, where do I start? As a ABA owner tonight, with our third game, I just felt like that was going to be a W tonight, fellas. And it was not. We lost that game by 3 points. And I don't know. Just something in my mind just clicked to realize that, you know what? You actually own a basketball team. Like, you're a member of this ABA basketball team. And so if you want to get that W, there's things going to have to change. You know, things that, not just my team, but I'm talking about myself. And I felt that click the same way when I was in the military at 19 years old in basic training, when my brain clicked over to become that soldier. And so part of the conversation tonight we're going to have is about that identity crisis, right? Because most of us deal with some level of it, right? It could be connected to your sense of belonging. It could be connected to, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I born? Like, there's so many things that identity can be connected to. And especially with athletes, I played basketball. I had a chasing hoop dream. I'm just chasing the hoop dream right now as an owner, right? And so just to be in that gym today, on the cameras, rooting for my team, talking to this gentleman right here, Matthew, just that whole environment tonight was just something different. And maybe it was the loss, you know? Maybe it was that loss that I felt like, you know what? What do we need to do, right? But not just what we need to do, but who do we need to become, right? Because most of the time we just focus on, you know, what I got to do in life, what I got to do in life. But do we ever think about who I have to become in life? And to me, that is just as important as the activity of life than what I do as my experience of life. And I don't hear myself on the app, so I don't think that I'm actually broadcasting on the AM, on the StreamYard. So I might have to unmute myself over here and see what happens. So we're live right now in the station right now. So we're just making sure that we got audio on all of the platforms. I hear myself. Huh? I'm plugged into your feed. Do I need to be plugged into my? Is that an echo? Is it echo over your airwaves? A little bit? Do I need to be plugged in? See, that's me talking. That's the MBR app. You're not using your mics right now? So if you're not using your mics right now, then where is that? It's coming from somewhere. All right, we're just gonna work with it. Let me make sure y'all can hear me on the KCA. There we go. Okay, as long as I'm on the apps on the KCA radio, we're good. All right, so again, we're back to, this conversation about being an ABA owner and having this realization of being a member of this professional team. Turn your mic on. Introduce yourself, man. You was with me tonight.
Yes, hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Deshane Weaver. I'm assistant general manager of the Chula Vista Suns. Former overseas player, played 9 years. Greece, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Venezuela, Mexico. A lot of different places. Traveled 47 different countries. And I'm just happy to be a member of the ABA too. We played you guys a couple of weeks ago, and you guys look so much better. Just the progress of basketball. You guys look like a real team, and I was kind of like feeling like you guys should have won that game.
Yeah.
You guys had it, just a couple little things like the threshold.
Yeah, we were there, and being a new team, playing y'all twice back to back. Which your team is one of the top teams in our conference, and being able to score 137 points up against you, and then score another 130 something up against you, and then tonight, with another team who's one of the top teams in our conference. Yes. So we've had 3 games with the top teams of our conference, and I have to walk away with that as a win. For the experience, maybe not for the activity of the W, but the growth of these new players.
And I can see the growth what you guys had, and that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I was telling them individually, they look so much better as a team collectively, because you guys the score wasn't as high, and that let you guys know the additional players that you brought a lot more physicality.
Yeah, and that's what we needed. We needed that, and I'm glad that we were able to scout them out and find that. I got a few guests that's going to be here, so I definitely want you to chime in and kind of hang out with us. Okay. I appreciate you for spending time tonight. So yeah, I got to deal with that tonight. And my GM, Ila, he heard me. He saw it. He was like, "Don't go there." Don't go there. And I was like, I'm cool. But on my ride home, I had to digest that and just be okay with that we still accomplished, right? And we got, 14 more games or so. So we just getting started. But tonight I got some very impactful conversations with you. I got Coach Will is here from the Sports Collective, TV, media, and radio crew that we have. I got people sending me messages of, I'm on Twitch. Oh, they say we on Twitch too. So, all right. So we're going to play some commercials, and we're going to come back and then get right into this conversation. I believe all the guests are here, so we're not going to waste any more time. Again, this is the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAARadio.com website. So if you're in your car out here in the Inland Empire and you got to get out of your vehicle, grab your device, type in KCARadio.com and click listen live or watch live, or go get the app, because KCA Radio has the app as well. Also does MBR. So make sure you go to those 2 platforms and get those apps, and you can catch us streaming from wherever you are, your devices. The Farron Dozier Show. Shout out Southwest Account. We're about to play this commercial. Here we go.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia. Not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Comigo decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Comigo.com to learn how you can get Comigo through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too.
man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also stream from the KCAA Radio.com website. The station that leaves no listener behind. I still hear an echo somewhere. No? Is that just me talking? There's a little one, right? There's still a little. Turn down what? Turn down for what? How about now? It's gone now, huh? Oh, yeah, it is gone. It's a headphone. All right. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there. Like I said, we are streaming live. Everything is possible when you're live on the radio, right? So this is where we at. But again, just being the owner of this ABA team, I'm going to wrap this up. I got to catch that because I recognize that identity. And what's crazy is being retired from the military all these last 11 years, I've been attempting to peel off these layers, right? I got the basketball identity. I'm a dad. I'm a grandfather. Like I got all these identities, and I'm an author, but I didn't want to put those on because I felt like I have to like behave. It's like there's an expectation for myself, I guess, that comes with those. So I had been resisting putting this ABA owner's hat on, but after tonight, I think I gotta just go with it, man. There's something that clicked that I'm like, you know what? I gotta go with that. And so we got a guest here who I'm sure he can relate, being a professional athlete at one point, and having a son who's in sport and in football. And these are some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, right? Some of these mental toughness, mental health, identity, having children that's in that same vein. So let me bring up Coach, man. Coach.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Doing great. Good to see everybody, man. I see you got your guy up there, man. He got that Lincoln sweater on, man. You know what I mean? I see you with that Lincoln sweater on, man. My boy, yeah. We took a loss to Lincoln. We had a close game with them down in San Diego. It was a good game. Much love for those guys. But I noticed that sweater early.
Coach, man, appreciate you for hanging out tonight. We got a real one on the deck coming up tonight, man. So what do you want to say about our guest coming up?
Just excited, man. Great guy, phenomenal character. You know, when you talk about someone that leads by example, great leader. Just on all all sides of the spectrum, right? You know, you talk about father, coach, mentor, brother, husband. I mean, you name it. And I've been fortunate enough to kind of groom with this man and kind of just brush off some of that greatness a little bit. But I thought it was important that he joined us on the deck because he has so much to offer as far as insight, the state of the game, as far as the industry as a whole, the sports industry as a whole, but not just the sports side of it, where we're talking about stats, numbers, ratings. Right. We're talking about, like we talked about, mental healthness, right? The before the game, the after the game, the during the game process, the preparation. So I don't want to take too much away from it. I feel like I said too much already. I just like to bring on, our guy, Rob Devon Butler, who is, up for a lot of great things coming. I'll let him talk to you about that more.
What's happening?
Yeah. What's good, my brothers? Can y'all hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, you're good. Thank you.
No doubt.
Thanks for hanging out tonight, man.
Hey, man, listen, first and foremost, appreciate you guys for having me on. It's a tremendous honor. I don't take any requests to share myself with the world lightly. So when my brother Will reached out, I mean, it's only a handful of people who could reach out, especially in a short notice.
Right.
Most people need like eight weeks. I need a 90-day advance.
Right, 90 days.
I need 90 days. There's a lot going on.
We inside that window.
Yeah, you are well within that window, but it's Coach Will, man.
Right?
It's Coach Will. So it's an automatic yes.
Cool. Again, thank you. Just kind of introduce yourself a little bit. Don't give it all away, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. Well, good evening, everybody who's tuning in from wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Rob Devon Butler. I'm a 43-year-old man of God. I'm a son. You talked about peeling away layers earlier. So notes like, man, that's deep because as you ask me who I am, I immediately think about all those things that you were talking about. Exactly. And you know what's wild, bro, is that those are the roles that we play in this motion picture called our lives.
Yes.
But it's not who we are.
No.
It doesn't. These roles, husband, father, leader, entrepreneur, ex-NFL player, whatever, businessman, child of God, none of those things really quite capture our essence. So with that being said, I will answer that two ways. One, from a human perspective.
Yes, let's go.
I am the eldest son of Robbie Darnell Butler and Kimberly Poole. Okay.
Sweet.
I am a husband. I am a father. I am a leader. Yes, I am an ex-NFL player. And I can go on for 30 minutes about all the roles that I've ebbed and flowed throughout my life. But I think for the benefit of the listeners, and the edification of who I truly am, man, I am a man of God with a mission and a purpose. I am a spiritual being having a human experience.
Thank you.
I am a masculine energy, a divine masculine energy on a mission.
Yeah.
To remind people who we truly are. That's what gets me high.
Yo, let me tell you. I thank you for reminding me, because I had to come back to who I am as a person when I show up without all those identities, right? And who I am is that others see their greatness through my self-expression, by being used by their language to be set free, while being here and being here, right? So that's here listening and here present.
Present.
Right?
Presence. Yes.
All by reconciliation and forgiveness, man, and self-forgiveness. So when you said that, I was like, oh, you brought me back to my spiritual being first.
Yeah.
Let's not basketball owner first. It's going to be when I show up right here without all of that, man. So we right on point. We right on point, man. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Any comments you want to say about that?
It's funny that you guys say that because me being divorced and I had a wife and um, imagine like I played professional basketball overseas in a lot of different countries, but imagine that your significant other is bigger than you. She ran an Olympics. She's a gold medalist. She's a coach of the She's an Olympic coach now. It's
yeah.
And I was like, I feel it too, but I have a son that's playing overseas now. He went to Oral Roberts. A couple of years ago, he hit the big shot for them to go to the Sweet 16. He hit that shot against
Your son.
Yes,
Oh,
Shane Weaver Jr.
See?
Yeah, and
See? It's one of those nights.
Yes, I was just thinking, like, I have accolades, but they have so much more. He has 3 degrees, a bachelor, 2 masters, and I'm like, she's has a doctorate, and he was talking about how spiritually, it's all. I was just thinking about how blessed I am when you were talking. I was like, I am truly blessed just to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
well done. He's given us so much.
Coach, what you got over there, Coach? Man, I know you.
No, man, this platform, I think, having these brothers join us, not for, just the sports segment of the show, but, join us on this important mission. It's a message that needs to be heard. And, I'm just here to support the platform and these gentlemen being able to get their word out, get their message out. And I'm gonna give the people a chance to hear from me, but I love what I'm hearing. I love the direction we're going in, and I'm just waiting for more.
So, Coach, man, we got so much to discuss in this show. We don't have enough. We need like a 90-minute show for real, especially tonight. But one of the things that I really wanted to address with you, we can relate to that identity from the athlete to men. How many years you played professional? Me, 24 years in the Army. How was that transition for you when that helmet, when those pads came off and you was not going back to the locker room ever to put those on again? Please share that.
Man. When you ask questions, I'm gonna take a pause.
Just
to get centered and just to be present.
You good.
What you're asking me, because there's like what I think default at what my human and my conscious mind, my academic mind, but then there's this soulful, there's this spiritual, this existential intelligence that comes through.
Yeah.
So in order to let go and let God and just like get out the way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, man, let me set the table real quick. So I said out of my mouth that I want to play in the NFL when I was 7. Okay. So I was eight. I was actually 8. I started playing organized football at 7. I went straight to contact. One of my buddies from the projects where I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was like, "Hey man, you fast. You should play football." I'm like, "Man, that thing, like football is violent. That's crazy. Why would I run into somebody at full speed for like no reason? Like that's stupid. Let's just wrestle. Let's just play fight. We can slap box, like whatever we doing, play it tag in the hood. Like that's cool." He was like, "Nah, man, you got to do it." So I go out, I get number 63. I'm trash. I'm fast, but I don't know. I don't know the game. I don't know. I'm 7. My bro was 9. He was
he tiny mites.
We were on the termites. He was at the top of the termites. I'm just getting started. He the one scoring all the touchdowns. So I'm like, all right, good. So I mean, he's good. He's fast. He's all swagged out. Got the high top fade with the box and all the Jordans and all the the girls love him. I'm like, oh, hey, Kenny.
That's where it's at.
My dog Kenny Townsend. So long story short, I played that year. I'm like a backup left tackle and a special teams guy. I wore number 63. I got my dad bought the little forearm guards from Harness Wagner so I could be protected. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this just doesn't feel like me. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna be a big dude like that when I grow up. So Kenny graduates, like he goes on to the Mighty Mites, and now I'm 8, and it's my time. Ooh. I've been wrestling with them, running with them in the streets. Those were the older homies. I always ran with older dudes. Always. Yeah. Even to this day, my closest friends, they in their 50s. Right?
Yeah.
It's the wisdom for me. It's the wisdom. Yeah. It's the wisdom. I'm 43. Right? So I collect jewels, man. I'm that guy that I'm asking questions because I want to know. I'm coachable in life. And I'll get to that later. So long story short, I ended up scoring 40 touchdowns that season in 9 games.
Wow.
And I go to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up. Because my dad was one of my coaches. Non-custodial, but he was always present. We'll get into that too.
Yeah.
I said, Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I said, I want to go to the NFL. He said, boy, shut up and go hit somebody. Get back in there and go hit somebody. So I set the table because I want the listeners to understand and the viewers to understand that from 7 to 27, 28. All right. Now it's 21 years in this identity. This identity actually protected me from the identity of gangbanger. It protected me from the identity of drug dealer. It shielded me from the identity of pimp. And because I knew I had to be eligible to play, and I knew that academics had to be, they had to be on par to get in the. I was always I was a scholars guy growing up. I was in the gifted program, 3.8, 4.0. That wasn't cool. That didn't get you the girls. That didn't get you that got you teased where I come from. I begged my mom to put me in mainstream. She finally puts me in mainstream with my homies, and it's still not. It's like a elevator. It's in between the scholars and the mainstream. So I was like in the middle because my grades was too high. She put me in there. Long story short, that taught me that, man, you got to design yourself. Like you have to design yourself against all odds. You smart and you good at football. Right. Don't dim your light for nobody. So for 21 years, I'm on this path. Football is my saving grace and my salvation. It really was. That's why this ball is life thing is like, it's a real thing for me, right? At 28, I can't do it no more. Like in my heart, I can do it. I'm the smartest I've ever been because I've watched more film now. I've got more, I've got 5 years in as a pro, but my body is like, nah, dog. Nah, I had yeah, man. Listen, turf toe took me out.
Oh
wow. That was a real thing for a while. Like turf toe, you don't hear as much now with as many turf fields, but that was a real thing for a long time. I'm sorry, continue.
After all of that.
Because we played on ash, we played on that green carpet. Like I'm that old. Yeah. I'm that age where we didn't have field turf until college. You know what I'm saying? And even that was sparse here and there. When I got to the league is when I really started to experience more field turf more frequent. It was about 50-50 at that time, even less than that. I think we mostly grass fields in 04-05. Yeah. But so going back to your question, sorry to set the table, it takes so long. So I'll speed it up. I got released. The last team I played for professionally was the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. And I played in the Arena League. I had a workout with the Steelers in 2009. Yeah. I had surgery on that toe in August of 2008. So I went back to school after I got done playing because I didn't finish my degree. I left early to train for the combine. Didn't end up getting drafted, but I wanted to give myself the best chance at getting in. And I go back to school. I'm coaching as a student assistant. And Kevin Colbert, the GM at the Steelers at the time, was an RMU graduate where I went to college after I left Pitt. And he's like, yeah, we'll work you out in January. I talked to Coach Tomlin. We're going to work you out in January. Get healthy, rehab. We look at signing you to a futures contract. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Now, I played for the Chargers. I played for the Ravens.
He's a fan.
And I'm like, my dad is like, man, you signed with the Steelers, son. Like, that'll atone for your little stint with the Ravens. Like, we'll wash that clean. And I physically couldn't do it. I could not push off. As a DB, you got to be able to plant and drive. You got to be able to plant and drive. Wow. My big toe became arthritic. It was so rigid, even after the surgery. I had like 30% range of motion plus pain. So I called Kerry. I sent him an email, actually, let him know. And I actually asked him to be a part of the NFL coaching fellowship because at that time, I thought I was going to transition into coaching.
Yeah.
So during that time, my wife's family's, they're big on family. So they're having a cookout. I just got released. I'm back home in Pittsburgh. She's like, come on, baby, we're going to the cookout over, I'm like, hell nah. Your folks are too nosy. They're sick of me getting cut. They want to know what's next. I don't know what's next. They want to ask me all these questions.
Right there.
I'm like in a depression, fellas. Like I don't know who I am. I tell y'all all that to tell you that this moment, that moment was like a rebirth because I have no identity. As long as I'm a football player, it's my reality. Like I actually play football and I get paid to do that.
Right.
There's no disconnect between, there's no identity crisis between what I'm doing, who I'm being, and who I think I am.
Exactly.
Right.
When I got cut that last time and I couldn't physically do it, I was like, well, god dang, even if I willed myself into thinking that I was a football player, you're really not that. Like you got to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
So I prayed and I went into a meditative state, and God revealed to me this process that I share freely. Holy Spirit. So I prayed and I meditated. So like praying, you're asking. And for me, praying is when I'm asking and I'm actually commanding.
Mm-hmm.
Back then I was asking, now I just command because I understand the game that's being played now. I was like, oh, I was begging before. Now I'm just
remind him what he said.
Come on.
Remind him what he said.
That's all. And I understand and have activated my ancestors. So I got the power of the Most High, as well as all those who are clean in my bloodline doing my bidding for me in the unseen. So boom. So he said, okay, get a piece of paper, make 2-3 columns. Talents. These are abilities that I gave you that you don't have to work for. These are gifts. Second column from the Most High. Second column was passions. These are things that make you feel most alive. These are things that give you a creative energy when you do them. You do them for free. As a matter of fact, you can get 2 hours of sleep, but when you are in this space, in this frame, in this being on that frequency, you actually walk away like this conversation. I ain't had that much sleep the night before. Daughters in volleyball, but I'm sweating right now talking to y'all.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah.
Third column was expressions or ways of being. You start to see the framework, right? Talent, passions, expressions. Oh, okay. So I got all the sheet of paper because I'm obedient and I'm a student. Got my notes from when you was talking before. I was behind. I was in the backstage listening to you taking notes, bro. Listening to Shane taking notes, man. It's Shane, right?
Yes.
See? Yeah, I ain't missing. Shit. Shit. Shane, what you talking about? Overseas, Sun 3 degrees, Oral Roberts winning shots, Sweet 16.
Right.
What? What?
Yeah.
I just learned that right now with you. I just learned that right now.
What?
Yeah.
When you talk, I'm listening, bro. So I did the exercise. I wrote all the everything that was in that third column. I literally tried. So it was football coach, okay, life coach, preacher, teacher, businessman, motivational speaker.
Sound like
Bros.
UFD.
It's not like that. It does. I'm in the mirror.
Man, come on, man. So this is just a frequency that I've never met Farron. I've never spoken to him.
Nope.
Again, Coach Will reached out to me probably where was it, 2 weeks ago? If that, like a week,
Yeah.
maybe like a week ago.
Like a week ago. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It hit me last week. I said, Dan, we spend a lot of time, especially this segment of things is really focused on what, the Farron Dozier show, mental health and everything that goes around what he does and allows men like ourselves to have a platform to speak and voice these type of opinions. But I knew last week something that came over me. We had a couple conversations prior, as you know, but last week I said, Dan, it's really important that not just I hear this, but families hear this. I want parents, ex-players, coaches, mentors, trainers, I want them to hear this. I want them to see this. It's one thing when it's us in a private conversation, but what you're articulating, there's millions of people, hundreds of thousands of men and probably women that are going through this type of reassessment of life and alignment with themselves. So I think that it's important for it to come from someone, I guess you could say caliber, status, however you want to frame the wording. But I think it's important that they hear from someone who's been there, someone who's walked it, right? Like hands-on, and is still going through it, still working on being better and developing a better version of themselves and then raising another life and pouring into that that's a whole nother walk. So I thought it was important to get him on the deck with us as well.
This is I'm a end it with this for myself right now, Coach, and you too. And Coach Will knows this. When you talk about your expression, right? People say that there's no I in team, right? And you will put your foot down and be like, there is no I in team, there's no I in team. I'm coming today to say that there is an I in team, and the I in team is the interpersonal relationship that the athlete has to have with himself first. How can I give myself away if I'm still carrying my mom got divorced, my grandmother died, my dad's whatever, the fractures that we grew up with our parents as children. You wasn't at my game. You didn't do this. You didn't buy me them shoes. I don't like you no more. I want to talk to you no more. And then we get to this level of age and we want to be friends and have fellowship and communicate, but I'm still dealing with something in my subconscious mind that I don't know how to express out in language, so it comes out in my behavior. Yes. And as I retired from the military and I went through the same thing, I went from purpose, passions, and gifts in my phase, and that expression is there is the I in team. We focus on interpersonal relationships. This is interpersonal. Right here. But what about the intrapersonal with who I am when I'm by myself? Right. And I gotta deal with what's going on in my subconscious mind telling me, you ain't good enough, you ain't worth it, you this, you're on your own. Why are you doing this? Like that's the thing, Coach, that coming with Coach Will, that's the piece that I believe that if we don't address that, that's a human being flaw. That's not just us military and athletes. That's a human being flaw that we have. And how do we start to develop that for our children, or reconcile our family? I told you about reconciliation and self-forgiveness. That is what this platform, my part of this sports talk, I don't do the highlights. I'm the mental toughness, because I can relate to you as an athlete and as a veteran of sports, as a veteran of military, whether you're a police officers, they deal with suicide just as much as military does. Right. So that identity piece, man, you pointed to, Coach, is so important. And I want to end that segment with that, except with your feedback on that I in team. With you.
You just opened up a whole nother dimension. You just unlocked a whole nother, bro. Listen, so when you were talking, it's like, okay, there's no I in team, and then you said, well, there is. I'm like, well, where's that? I'm looking at the letters. Where is it?
Hey, in the middle. It's just been there all the time.
The whole time. Then you broke it down. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. Oh, yeah, there is no I in team, but there sure as hell is a me. The sure as hell is a me in team. But the way you expounded and broke down that me, it's not like give me the ball, me. It's who am I and why am I here? And what is my highest, most remarkable contribution to the collective me?
Baby,
like who? Like, am I bringing my best self to the field of play? This is life, bro. Like, I just had this conversation with my wife. Full disclosure, it's like, listen, baby, I'm committed to this relationship. Yeah, I'm committed to this marriage. I'm committed to you. But what I'm also committed to is being, to Coach Will, what Coach Will said earlier, like, I'm committed to being the best version of me in this relationship. Yeah. According to God's will for my life, because that's the most authentic version of me. So you're 100% correct, is because we think about team and we think about there's no I in team. I think there is an agreement that it's about others. And you even hear the young athletes talk about, well, so-and-so didn't get their block. You hear the athletes in college in the league talking about so-and-so missed the call. So-and-so.
Yeah.
That cause and effect world.
Okay. So if we can all just shed the ego and deal with the me inside of team, or the intrapersonal relationship, the I inside of team, then I think that if everyone took that approach, you talk about a rising tide lifts all ships. Every ship is creating a rising tide in this paradigm that you're talking about.
It
is.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
What?
And this is what part of what Sports Collective is. We're about to get into some other pieces of it. I want to first acknowledge you about your Hall of Fame. What do you want to say about that? You've got so many
accolades. Give us a taste. Give us a taste.
What do you want to say about that piece of it? We don't want to go away without that.
I don't mean to say this to sound. I'm confident, but I never realized how humble I was. And thank you for the question, because in this Hall of Fame, like, this is the second Hall of Fame I'm being inducted into in the last 4 years. The first Hall of Fame was the Pittsburgh Public School City League Hall of Fame, where I'm from. High School Hall of Fame, where we tore it up, one of the most winningest programs in history, state championship runs as a city school, as a public school. Okay, playing in the Whippy is what we call is like the bigger schools with 285, 290 pound linemen, when my lineman was 185 pounds.
Right.
They were basically receivers.
I get it, Dave.
So on the Hall of Fame, I will say this. I'm the last one to receive acknowledgement and really take it. I'm learning that self-deprecating, that leaders eat last, is altruistic. I got it from Jesus. I got it from Big Bro. I know where I got it from. But I'm also realizing that I have to begin to prioritize myself, my highest self first, and I have to be able to receive flowers when they're given. It's okay. Like,
man, you got to come back, bro. You got to come back, because the part that you just addressed, I'm 54. I just discovered that a couple of years ago, in the midst of, you got to have self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, self-affirmation, self-value. But sometimes our parents kill that off, not because they don't want us to experience it, because like my mom would say, "Oh, you bragging. You can't say I did this. You can't say I." I'm like, why not? And then I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say that you have to have self-love, and I did his research on that, bro. I'm like, there it is right there.
It's all there.
Self-love.
It's all there.
It's all there. Accept it. But again, if you're dealing with that, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it, I'm not in your environment, how can you naturally? You can't.
It flies in the face of everything you've been programmed to believe about yourself, to your point. A lot of times that comes from parents, that comes from coaches, it comes from teachers. Yeah. And I'll transition into talking about my son or my kids or my role as a father, because I recognized where it came from and where the programming got started, and I chose to make sure my kids didn't have a view of self that was less than what it should be under the guise of humility.
Right.
So Hall of Fame. I played 2 years at Robert Morris, transferred from Pitt. All right, I was playing behind a guy named Antonio Bryant at Pitt. Antonio Bryant was a dog out of Miami Northwestern. Got drafted second round to the Dallas Cowboys in 2003 or 2004. It was 4. And it was my sweet mate, but we came in the same class in 99. So I moved from corner to receiver, and they put me behind Antonio. I'm like, God, I'm not, unless we go 4 wide, I wasn't getting on the field.
He was a dog.
I wasn't getting on the field, bro, unless it was 10 personnel. We didn't go 10 personnel that much back then. Okay,
right.
So I'm like, yo, I got to get out of here. I didn't know he was going to get drafted. I didn't know he was going to come out early and get drafted. But I also didn't know Larry Fitzgerald was going to come in January. And I probably, I was an upperclassman, but Larry's one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Yeah, definitely, right?
And he was a freshman All-American. So, he was going to do what he did, whether I was there or not. So I left. I went to Robert Morris. I went to Robert Morris as a receiver. I was a 1AA All-American. honorable mention as a receiver, led the team in receiving yards. Wasn't a whole lot of yards. We was a running team, and it was what it was. So I had like 429 yards. You know what I mean? No touchdowns. And that's 4. And y'all football, y'all know y'all sports guys. So if I had 29 catches, 429-ish yards. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? What do you think? Like, what do you think my go-to route was?
Hitch, screen, hitches, screen curls.
Yeah, I mean, 8
something.
8 yard stop.
He under 10. Yeah. That's what I said. The curl. Yeah.
Curl, hitch, button hook, screens, everything. Yeah, so I almost had a half, a half a stack off of that. So so I think I'm the dude, right? Tennessee Titans are recruiting me. Who else came through? Indianapolis Colts came through. Sorry about the connection, guys.
Okay.
It's on my end. Am I okay? Okay.
We still hear you.
Okay. My coach comes to me that spring going into my senior year. He says, I'm like, damn, I made it to class. Like, my grades are good. Why are you calling me to the office right now, coach? He says, Joe Walton, God rest his soul, used to coach the Jets back in the day, and Dan Radakovich, Bad Rad, was our D coordinator. So those two guys are in his office, and I said, "Is everything okay?" They said, "Yeah, we just wanted to talk to you about your future. We think you have a hell of a chance of playing in the NFL." I'm thinking, like, well, shit, that's good to hear, because at least that's 3 of us, Maybe my mom thinks it too. Right. He said, "But not at receiver." I said, "Oh man, okay." He said, "I think that as a receiver, you're average. Average height. You're athletic. You're tough as hell. But I think your future and your ceiling will be higher on defense. As a safety, I've never played safety. I played corner and receiver. I'm a finesse guy. Those safeties they taking out pulling guards like on the perimeter. Like you got C or D got responsibilities. You got force. You got force. You got to come in using that inside shoulder force and take on some stuff, right?" Definitely. So I moved to safety my senior year. They used me like Troy Polamalu had me all over the field. I was blitzing A gap, B gap, C gap. I was high safety. I was in cover 2. In cloud, I would also play the cloud player as a corner, and they would put the corner high and let me play because I was a better run stopper if they got perimeter run. So I would go down and force number 1 inside, key number 2, see run coming.
I'm on it. Yeah.
You got to come back to the 4th down segment in the zone. And then the heme factor, man, because what you're expressing, if you could sum it up, how do you see that for your son? Your son is now following. Yeah. Inspired from a father perspective. Yeah. Speak to that part.
It's man. I don't get emotional on this part. Like I got 2 sons. Both of them are extremely gifted in a multitude of areas. But the youngest one, who we're talking about, Aaron Malik, who's at the Longhorns as a freshman, true freshman, he'll probably get redshirted. He had something at a young age that I could see that my oldest son didn't have. And it's not like one's better than the other. It's just like
not a comparison, right? Not a comparison. Yeah,
no, because he's a gamer. Go watch the Calabasas tape. You'll see him going crazy. All right, nice. Trust me. Yes, nice. Sir. Definitely.
But Aaron had this vision of himself about playing in NFL. Amani didn't have an NFL vision. He couldn't see it. That vision wasn't given to him. I thought that he was selling himself short and being lazy and not using his gifts wisely, and I thought he was like shameful. Like I shamed him. Like, man, God gave you all of this stuff.
It's in your genes.
You got to do something. You got to do something with it. And but to go through this process with Aaron, with the mindset you talked about, Farron, that I have now, and allowing him to go through this process because he was the number 3 athlete in the country.
Right.
Coach will tell you he probably is number 1. He probably is number 1 all around. Definitely. He was a top 10 corner and a top 10 receiver. And so composite, he was number 1, or number 3 athlete That's how he graded out.
For all you dudes that kept calling me like, yo, is he really like that? Is he really a Bama guy? Is he really a Georgia guy? I want all y'all to look at where my guy is right now. You know what I mean? And no credit. I'm not taking no credit for this young man's success. But when I told you he was the real deal, this kid was the real deal. It didn't matter who he was going up against. It didn't matter what level of competition it was. And believe it or not, the kid is just as sharp off the field. That's what'll blow your mind.
Yeah. We got Robert Lamar on the deck. What's up, big baby in the zone? What's happening?
Oh, I'm just chilling right now, man. This is hey, I'm a fan today.
You a fan today?
I'm a fan today, man.
Hey, man.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah. We need another day. Can we get back in your window of opportunity again, man? Because we got so many levels to peel off. 100%. Shane, you've been sitting here. What do you want to say, man?
I've been enjoying it. I mean, I understand. And you guys talk about the accolades. I came up the other way, the mud. I was on a CIF team, but I wasn't a CIF guy. I was kind of like coming in the background. I was like the mud guy. I could play, but I was really skinny, like Manu Bowl. And it was like, when I got out of high school, went to college, it was like get a job.
Yeah.
And I got cut. And I got cut again. And I met somebody, and it was like, hey, let me help you. Don't work. Just let me help you.
See.
And then I met my ex-wife. And she ran an Olympics, and it changed everything. I went to work out with them, and I threw up, and I seen I wasn't working hard enough.
That's right.
After that workout, it was Carl Lewis there. I didn't know who these guys were at the time.
Yeah,
I didn't know Carl Lewis. I didn't know anybody, any of them.
Yeah,
I went to the workout, and they were working so hard, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah.
And it was like
different level.
That's what I had to get. That's why I made season. None of my friends did because it was another workout. Like I tell my son, he was like, well, we did drills, we worked out, we lift weights. And I was like, okay, did you play? Did you run more? It's like,
no.
Right.
Like he was number 4 in the nation, but he hurt his knee. And I was mad at his mom because he was playing on 2 different teams. And I was like, you can't do that. You have to rest. You really got to, take care of your body. But they didn't see that. But you know how you say your kids, you want to pour into them. And I was like, I'm the dad. Get back, that guy. I wanted to coach him, but
3 minutes already.
3 of them things.
We got 3 of them things.
All I can tell you is yes, we need to get back, and I'm a fan because I really love what I heard. And
Nah, man, it's important that I really wanted to make sure that we have Rob on for both parts. You know what I mean, Coach Rob. I really wanted him on for both segments, and I thought it was important that he also brings this conversation to the Sports Collective media table, because what he can offer to the people, to the community, is really some current knowledge, right? Like I always tell my players, there's coaches and there's trainers who have traditional ways, but then there's coaches and those trainers who kind of been there in current times, and they can tell you current language, current expectations. So there's some things that Coach Rob can walk us through and talk us through when it comes to reclassification, right? When it comes to the mentality and the process, right? Yeah, behind the reclass. Also, he can talk to us a little bit about the recruitment process, the patience that it takes, how to be consistent, how to follow up, what to expect and what not to expect in the process of that. And these are things that our listeners need to hear to keep their head on right, because as much anxiety as those kids feel, we're feeling it and wound up just as much, which is a transfer of energy to the kids. So it's a lot going on there. So the more education that our families have and our community has, that'll rest assured and kind of put them at ease a little bit, because the industry is evolving, the industry is changing, and you must address the football and the sport of football now as a part of the entertainment industry more than ever. So I'm thankful for having them on. I'm looking forward, Rob, for you to kind of continue to give us more. And, you can stick around. If, we can get you back on, you have a home here. Yeah. I've been telling you this for a while, so I'm glad to have you on.
We on AM/FM, so, when they say we got to go. So thank you all for listening in. Coach, thank you. Rob, fan, man, tonight, man. Shane, man, I appreciate you for hanging out.
Yeah,
I got to play these commercials and get out of here. We will be back for part 2, ladies and gentlemen. The Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio, NBR platform, Roku TV, You just name it. All the social media platforms we hear, Sports Collective TV, media, and radio. Shout us out. What's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
KCAA. It's that time of year again. No, not the holidays. Medicare open enrollment. And if you have questions about Medicare, you should talk to the local experts. Paul Bear